Hi YouTube, Ian here. Today I thought I'd ask you a question. Does the Marvel Cinematic Universe have a problem with diversity? And before I go any further, I just want to say right from the start there will be spoilers in here for the entire MCU right up to Ant-Man. So stop watching now if you don't want that to be spoiled for you. Right, straight off the bat, I just want to say I love Marvel. I love the Marvel movies, the TV shows, I read the comics. I'm a Marvel fanboy over DC any day. I even get some measure of enjoyment from watching Iron Man 2. But just because I love something doesn't mean I can't criticise it, and boy is this one hell of a criticism. Now let's take a look at all the heroes that have appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far. All the ones who've been the lead in their own solo movie. Well, we had Tony Stark, then Bruce Banner, then Tony Stark again, then Thor, then Steve Rogers, then Tony Stark again, then Thor again, then Steve again, and then Peter Quill, and now finally Scott Lang. And what about the heroes yet to come? Well, Steve Rogers is going to show up in Civil War next year. There's Stephen Strange showing up in Doctor Strange. We've got Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 again. There'll be Peter Parker in the new Spider-Man. There'll be Thor in Thor Ragnarok. And finally, at the very end, T'Challa as Black Panther, Captain Marvel's Carol Danvers, and then at the very end, the Inhumans. Now those last two solo films, Black Panther and Captain Marvel, they stand out, they really do. And to me that's because Black Panther is the first time we've seen a black lead in a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and Captain Marvel is the first time we've seen a female lead in a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. That's 10 years of cinema until it's taken for this to happen. They're the 15th and the 16th films in a long series. That's ridiculous, I mean come on! And what about the villains in each of these films? Well, Tony Stark's gone up against Ivan Vanko, Obadiah Stane, Trevor Slattery and Aldrich Killian. Captain America's gone up against Johann Schmidt's Red Skull, Bucky Barnes' The Winter Soldier, Alexander Pierce, and apparently shortly Tony Stark in Civil War. Bruce Banner's gone up against Emil Blonsky's Abomination and Thunderbolt Ross. Thor has fought his brother Loki, the Dark Elf Malekith, and will shortly go up against Ragnarok, who in the comics at least is a clone of Thor himself. Peter Quill's Guardians of the Galaxy have gone up against Ronan, Ant-Man went up against Yellow Jacket, and the Avengers have gone up against Loki again, Ultron, and then by the looks of it, finally Thanos. How many women was in there? Absolutely none. But hey, at least in Trevor Slattery's sort of maybe Mandarin, there's one actor of colour in Ben Kingsley. I mean, that's fantastic. Oh, that's total representation there. I don't think. Now, can you sense the cynicism and sarcasm in my voice when I say that? What non-white, non-male characters there are sidekicks like Falcon or Rhodey's War Machine. There's love interests like Jane Foster, Betty Ross, Pepper Potts, Peggy Carter. Supporting characters like Nick Fury, or members of a larger group like Natasha as Black Widow in the Avengers. Gamora or Vin Diesel's Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy, and Scarlet Witch in the new Avengers Age of Ultron. But men's rights activists need not fear. When Scarlet Witch joined the Avengers, so did two guys, her brother Quicksilver and of course Vision. I mean, like, don't worry there. They added a woman, but they also added two guys at the same time, so there's some equality for you. And let's not dare suggest they might actually cast a female of colour in any of these films. I mean, both Fox and Marvel whitewashed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver when they showed up in their films. And even though in Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt is a white dude and he got to play a white dude on screen, they cast Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista and Vin Diesel, but they made them play multicoloured aliens and a tree, for God's sake. So whilst it is representation behind the scenes, on screen, we couldn't actually see it. I'm talking about behind the scenes. Of the 11 directors, 21 writers and 3 producers involved in all the MCU films so far, there have been 2 women. 1 writer and 1 producer. And that producer did 1 film as opposed to Kevin Feige who did almost all of them. The new slate of movies is improving that, sort of, with the introduction of Sony's Amy Pascal's the producer on the new Spider-Man reboot, and Captain Marvel is going to be co-written by Guardians writer Nicole Perlman, who is the one writer we mentioned earlier, and newcomer to the MCU, Meg LaFauve. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing LaFauve correctly, but I'm trying, Meg, I'm trying. But you know what annoys me almost as much as this lack of representation? It's the fact that we keep getting teases for representation that just never come. There's one scene in Iron Man 3 where Pepper Potts puts on the armour and it's like, oh my god, it's rescue! And then she takes it off again, and aside from putting the arm on for one scene at the end, it's never seen again. There's the constantly teased Black Widow film that just never seems to appear. There's Jane getting more involved in Thor the Dark World, and then she just vanishes for Age of Ultron, never to be seen again. Rhodey, Falcon and Scarlet Witch all join the Avengers in the very last scene of Age of Ultron. And then Ant-Man. Ant-Man takes the complete biscuit on this one. They have a flashback that lasts mere seconds where we get to see Janet Van Dyne's Wasp. There's an entire plot in the film that exists just to stop Evangeline Lilly's Hope putting on her own Wasp costume. And then when she finally gets one, it's in a post-credit scene, and we might get to see it in a sequel that hasn't even been confirmed because the film hasn't done that well at the box office. So in my opinion, does Marvel have a problem with diversity? Yes, it definitely does. Marvel TV are doing better, certainly. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a much more diverse cast. Agent Carter is fronted by a woman. The Defenders on Netflix has Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. And at least the films are doing something. But it's terrible that we have to wait to 2018 and 2019 to see Black Panther, Captain Marvel and the Inhumans on screen. We as audience scorers need to demand more. Let's be honest, I'm going to keep going seeing every Marvel film when it comes out, no matter who the lead is. But at least I'm trying to speak up and make my opinion known and shout out there to someone from Marvel to listen to me. Hopefully they'll respond. Hopefully we'll see improvements. Hopefully they'll sugar about the schedule like they did for Spider-Man. But who knows? Oh, and the rest of the big movie studios, they ain't doing much better. I'm picking on Marvel here, but come on, Sonny, this is the third time we've seen Peter Parker and we still haven't seen Miles Morales. Fox, I will never forgive you for completely changing the Days of Future Past storyline to be from Kitty Pryde going back in time to Wolverine going back in time. And of course, we've got DC with Batman vs Superman coming out next year. That film's title completely ignoring the fact that we're also going to see Wonder Woman on screen for the first time. Probably Aquaman on screen for the first time. But hey, you know, get the two white guys in the title, that's all that matters. It's 2015, we can do better. But what do you think? Do Marvel have a problem with diversity? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, then subscribe for more videos about comics, TV shows, and all sorts of things. I forgot to mention movies. It's a movie video, and I didn't mention movies. But yeah, subscribe for more sort of stuff like this. If you're interested, hopefully some of the next videos will be a bit less ranty. And if you like this video, think about sharing it, subscribing, doing all that stuff, letting your friends know about it, and I'll see you next time.